What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anthony and this is Watch With Me. Today we got a unique episode today, visiting one of my best friends, and happens to be not only a watch guy but a car guy too. We're gonna go over his ride and his watch, why he thinks they pair so well together, but let's get into it.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. My name's Anthony as well. I've been friends with Anthony, Watch With Me, for a long time now. We're really good friends and we have a lot in common besides our names. But we both love watches, we both love cars. This here is my 2017 Grand Sport Corvette C7. Took me a while to pick the color, but I'm gonna get into some reasons why I picked my favorite watch and my favorite car. Yeah, we'll get into it.
All right, guys, so here we are with my good friend Anthony. We're gonna talk a little bit about his car, a little bit about his watch, and why he thinks they pair so well together. So, Ant, thanks for filming. I appreciate it, man.
Of course.
So let's talk about the watch first.
Sure. Yeah, I got the watch first, and there's a lot behind it. I mean, I started with a smaller collection, you know, of course, and as time went on, I always had my eye on the Royal Oak.
Sure. Yeah.
There's something about the Royal Oak with the sharp lines, and you know, the Gerard Genta's designs are just beautiful, and it's probably my favorite of his. So I went back and forth for a while. I touched before about the color of the car.
Right.
I also was unsure about the color of the watch.
Right.
You know,
because you were between the black and the white, or
the black and the white. Yeah. I wasn't going boutique for the blue.
Right. Right.
You know. So the you know, I tried on the white a bunch of times, and I was like, that's the one.
Yeah, yeah, I've been there a few times with him as well, when we'd go on vacation or stop in and try it on.
The first time I tried it on was in St. Thomas in this boutique, and they had everything there, you know, and at the time I just wasn't ready for the purchase, but since then I was always thinking about it.
Right.
And I went for it a couple of years ago.
This was like right before the craze, so for those of you who don't know, the watch that Anthony has is a 15400, and there's a really long wait list on it right now, and if you are going to purchase it secondhand, you're looking over retail now. I've even seen some prices creep right around 22 to 25,000.
We haven't even seen them in the boutiques. Yeah.
So no boutiques have it. Super hard to come by. So this is, you first started really looking a couple of years ago, you said.
Yeah. Once I saw it there, I tried it on, you know, and then of course, you know, when we'd go visit Anthony in the city, we'd go to boutiques there. The AP boutique is amazing in Manhattan. You know, so I finally decided to do it for myself, and it's probably one of my favorite purchases next to the car.
And how long ago was that?
That I got the watch?
Yeah.
The watch was probably, it's going on almost 2 years now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So,
and was there a wait when you purchased it?
There was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say 2 years is right when the hype started really hitting for the Royal Oaks.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, the wait was a couple months.
Yeah. Nothing like how it is now.
Yeah. But once I got it, you know, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So then you purchased you finally got the 15400.
Yeah.
And what was your feeling with it?
I mean, it's just it's a special watch to me. It stands out of any other watch in my collection. You know, it's a watch I don't wear to work. It's just something that is special to me, that I'm also very cautious to mark up. You know, but there are sharp lines on the watch, so that's one thing I'm very cautious of. If you ding it, you might mess up those lines. You know, so but I just save it, because one thing we were saying today when we were driving around, you know, when you're not using something every day, you tend to appreciate it a little bit more. And you know, it is one of those things I wanted for a long time, and I like appreciating it. So yeah.
Sure. And I think that's a good segue into kind of having something that you don't wear or use often, and it kind of segues into your cars. So you've always been into cars. Your father is a car guy as well, so you grew up kind of around nicer cars and whatnot. So tell us about, you know, where did the fascination for the Corvette really start, and what was your thought process behind maybe picking the style, the color, and everything about it?
So my interest in cars really sparked from my dad, which was cool. At a young age, my dad got a 67 Fastback, and he threw an Eleanor kit on it, and he didn't do it himself. I mean, it was done right. and
it was done. Wasn't it done by the shop that actually worked on the car?
Yeah, it was done by. So my dad reached out to the guy. He did a lot of research that actually made the car. There were 6 cars made for Gone in 60 Seconds. I think it was back in 2000 around then. He reached out to the guy and he made it for him. And we waited a year. We got it, and then me, my dad, my brother, we rebuilt the engine. We just had the block and we rebuilt it up. And from that point on, the feeling you got when you went out in it, car shows, you know, it stuck with me, and it's something I missed. You know, he eventually got rid of it, and since then,
it's about 20 years since he first got it, right? And it was 2000?
Almost, yeah. So I've had my eye on the Corvette for a while. I mean, I kind of lost interest with the C5, C6 models. I always loved the old Stingray models. I mean, I gotta say, my personal favorite designs, I think, ever are the 67 Fastback, and obviously that translates into the GT350, GT500, and of course the early Stingray models are just beautiful. The lines on the car, and now that the C7 was out, I mean, those lines are back, and I loved it. I wanted it since the C7 came out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot like the newer Mustangs. I think they're going back to really the prime of American automobiles. You know, the newer Mustangs look more similar to the fastbacks, and I think for the first time, the Corvette is really paying homage to when it was its absolute best, which is, you know, the '60s. So
sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So then you decided, okay, I'm gonna go for the Stingray. Now, take us through your thought process on, you know, why the white, why the red leather, things like that.
Sure. So the red I love. I mean, I really loved it. I mean, last year before I got the car, I got it about last fall. But last summer, somebody came by our family's barbecue with a red Z06, and ever since then I couldn't get it out of my head.
Right.
You know, and then my girlfriend's brother is also into cars, and he had his mindset on one as well. So we were talking a lot about it, and I decided to do it. And you know, the decision with the white, there's something about the red, like, it's awesome, but it almost looks like a Ferrari. You know, it has that look, that European almost look to it, and I didn't want to pose as.
Right, you wanted it's already a very loud looking car, maybe kind of tone it down a little bit where the red is really going to be out there.
Yeah, so
I would go for red. That's more my style.
Yeah, well, I just felt like it looked too much like a Ferrari.
Sure.
We were on the road last week, and we saw a white Ferrari in the distance, and we actually thought it was a Vet.
Yeah.
But there's just a similar look to it. So I love the white. I don't think it's a color I'll get tired of.
Sure.
There's something about like white and black cars too, you know. But I got the white. I'm happy I did it. I stuck with the red interior. I like how it pops with the red calipers. I think it's a nice balance with the white. But yeah, that's why I decided to do it.
Yeah, I think the AP and the car go well together. I mean, was that kind of like, do you like pairing the two together? Or
I mean, I do. Now that I have the white, I mean, I wasn't even thinking of that at the time, you know. But now when I'm driving, I'm like, you know, I'm looking at it.
Right.
But it's definitely a nice pair. And like I said, I guess I'm drawn to the sharp lines of the Royal Oak and the C7, but. You know, it was a tough decision too, not getting the Z06.
Right.
You know, I mean, I was talking to a lot of people, reading up online, and a lot of people were saying, I mean, the Z06 is an amazing car. I mean, it's an unbelievable supercharged engine.
650 horsepower.
650 horsepower. The car is very light. It's about 3,400 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of people were saying it's a lot of power for the car. So I wanted something that would be more enjoyable of a drive.
Sure.
So I went with the Grand Sport. The Grand Sport is 460 horsepower, naturally aspirated V8. There's 400 and I believe 55 pounds of torque. So it's still got plenty of beast in it.
So what's the difference between a regular Stingray and your Grand Sport?
So the Grand Sport it carries the body of the Z06, so it's wider. It actually has wider tires than the Z06.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does. For whatever reason, and that's one kind of downside, because they're the most expensive out of all the models, the tires, of course. But
this is meant more for like touring, though, right? That's probably why. Probably more for handling. Where I would assume the Z06 is more straight line.
Yeah, I wanted something I could go out, east with, or go for a nice drive, and not have to feel like I'm, behind the wheel of a monster. But it handles unbelievable. It still has the suspension of the Z06. That's another nice feature. And in addition to the body, but
it has the aero package too, so wider. It has the fender flares, the lip, and the wing.
Yeah, so it's a nice touch, and there's kind of a cool history behind the whole Grand Sport. They were originally launched in the early '60s. And there were, I believe, 5 made. Okay. And Chevrolet cut production on them, and then they weren't reproduced, I think, until the C4.
Oh, okay.
It's maybe even the C5. I gotta check that. But.
All right. Well, I think that's really it. We'll get some other close-up shots of that. Thanks, Ant, for doing the video, man. Appreciate it. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below of what you think of this guy's watch and car. Let's go easy on him a little bit. But until next time, guys, take it easy.
Thanks, guys.